Hey, this is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles with Earl Purdy. We're going to talk about
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
Welcome, mighty companions.
I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see.
Mighty companions, this is Earl Purdy. I'm so glad to see you here with me for Hardcore Course in Miracles. We're going to talk about how can you get rid of the perception of one thing being more difficult than another. How can perception of orders of difficulties be avoided? On page 24 in the Manual for Teachers, A Course in Miracles.
I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Help me out now. I'm not a victim.
Not a victim of the world I see.
I'm not a victim.
I'm not a victim
Of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see.
Now don't forget, you don't have to believe these ideas. You don't have to welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas might be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be quite startling. We are not going to analyze the ideas. We're not going to analyze the ideas. We're going to remember and use the ideas. Because the Course in Miracles says it's the use of the ideas that give them meaning to you and show you that they are true.
I'm not a victim.
I'm not a victim of the world I see.
I'm not a victim.
I'm not a victim
Of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I done to me.
Yeah, I'm Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. And we are going to talk about how can perception of order of difficulties be avoided. How can we avoid the perception that one thing is more difficult than another? How can we get rid of that idea that one thing is more difficult than another? The Course in Miracles is going to teach us. It's going to teach us tonight about how we can tell, how we can really get beyond that perception. The name of it is, how can perception of order of difficulties be avoided? How can the perception of order of difficulties be avoided? On page 24 in the Manual for Teachers. That's what we're going to talk about. And remember, I'm the divine repetition teacher, which means I'm not here to analyze A Course in Miracles. I've been studying it and teaching it for 40 years. And one of the things that I've noticed in working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students is that the course, in the beginning, the Course in Miracles students make the Course in Miracles, tend to make the Course in Miracles so much harder than it needs to be, because they analyze the Course in Miracles, try to fit the Course in Miracles into what they already believe, and it just doesn't fit. The Course in Miracles is simple. It's teaching us the difference between correct perception, which gives us peace, and incorrect perception that gives us conflict. The Course in Miracles is always working with the way we see things, the meaning that we're giving to everything. Because the meaning that we're giving to everything, that's what's causing us to feel the way that we feel. That music was John Christmas that I started out with at www.johnChristmas.com. And you can get his Course in Miracles music. John's a great singer. So I'm going to say it to you again. This is Hardcore Course in Miracles, that I'm working with people that are hopefully are Course in Miracles students, even though anybody can watch and learn hopefully from what I'm going to be covering. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And it's so good to see all my mighty companions. You all, I love you. I appreciate you. I value the time that I spend with you so much. So this first paragraph is a paragraph that kind of runs it all down. So let's go through it. It says the belief in order of difficulties, I'm going to do a lot of repetition. The belief in order of difficulties is the basis for the world's perception. So what is the basis of the way that the world sees things? We believe that one thing is more difficult than another. We think that some things are harder than other things. We have a belief that there is an order of difficulties. The problem I'm having with my child is more difficult than the problem that I'm having with my car. It's more difficult with the problem that I'm having with my guilt, which is different from the problem that I'm having with my anger. We believe the world believes in order of difficulties. So what does that mean? It rests on differences. So the world's perception rests on differences. It looks like there are differences all around us. It says the world's perception rests on uneven background, shifting foreground, on unequal heights and diverse sizes. In other words, the world's perception is based on varying degrees of darkness and light. Some things are darker than others, some things are lighter than others. That there are degrees of darkness and light. The world's perception is based on thousands of contrasts in which each thing seen competes with every other in order to be recognized. So what is the Course saying? The Course says the basis for the world's perception is that everything is in competition for our attention. Everything is in competition for our attention. It says each thing seen competes with every other in order to be recognized. That's the basis for the world's perception. The basis for the world's perception is competition. And the Course in Miracles teaches that competition is the one idea that we must be the most vigilant against if we really want peace. If we really want peace and love, then we can't see each other as in competition. And so the Course in Miracles says the basis of the ego's perception, the basis of the world's perception is what? Each thing seen competes with every other thing in order to be recognized. So what does that mean? Well, a brighter thing draws the attention from another with less intensity of appeal. And a more threatening idea, or an idea conceived of as more desirable by the world's standards, what the body's eyes behold, what the body's eyes see, what the body's eyes see, what the body's eyes behold is only conflict. The Course in Miracles says the only thing that the physical eyes see is conflict. It sees everything competing with everything else in order to be recognized. The physical eyes only see differences. Physical eyes only see differences. Physical eyes have everything competing with them for attention. What the body's eyes see is conflict. And the Course gives some of the most powerful advice that we could get. It says, look not to them for peace. Don't look for what the body's eyes see for peace and understanding. That the body's eyes only see difference, so don't look to the body's eyes for peace. So the body's eyes are going to see differences. The body's eyes are going to see things in competition with each other. And what does Jesus of the Course say? He says, don't look to the body's eyes and to what the body's eyes perceive for peace and understanding, because the body's eyes only see conflict. The body's eyes only see conflict. Physical eyes only see differences. This role, because I'm chilling out, and I hope you're chilling out and enjoying yourself and relaxing as you listen and watch this. You know, this robe looks different from the back of the sofa, which looks different from the wall. Everything that the body's eyes see are differences. The body's eyes only see differences. So the Course in Miracles says, don't look to the body's eyes for peace. Don't look to the body's eyes for understanding. The body's eyes only see conflict. Physical eyes only see conflict. They see conflict. They see differences. The physical eyes see uneven backgrounds, shifting foreground, unequal heights, diverse sizes, varying degrees of darkness and light, thousands of contrasts, larger objects, smaller objects, brighter things, darker things, a threatening idea, a peaceful idea. The body's eyes only see conflict. What is the instruction? Look not to them. Look not to them for peace. Don't look to what your body's eyes. Don't look to what your body's eyes behold for peace and understanding. So then, what do you do? What do you do? Well, it says, illusions are always illusions of differences. The Course in Miracles, one of the definitions that the Course in Miracles gives for illusions is very simply false ideas. Illusions are false ideas. Illusions are false ideas. Illusions are false ideas. They are fears. So illusions are always illusions of differences. So the biggest false idea that we have, according to A Course in Miracles, that you don't have to believe, the biggest false idea that we have is we believe that we're different. The biggest false idea that we have is that we're different. The Course in Miracles says we're not really different. In our truest natures, we're not different at all. In our truest nature, we are the same. Everything is the same. One, to be one means to be the same. We're talking about our core identity. We're talking about who we really are. I'm not talking about our ego. I'm not talking about our personalities. I'm not talking about our physical appearances. I'm not talking about what our physical eyes behold. The Course in Miracles says we are spirit. We are all the same. So how could it be otherwise? Illusions are always illusions of differences. False ideas are always false ideas of differences. I was telling a friend today that one of the biggest false ideas that we have is that we're different. We all perceive, we all give the meaning that everything has to us. We are the ones that are responsible for how we're seeing things. We're all dealing with either love or fear. We're all either seeing ourselves as a victim or we're seeing ourselves as responsible. So the Course in Miracles says by definition. Now the Course in Miracles is about to do what? The Course in Miracles is about to give us one definition of illusion. So those of you who would like to get the Course in Miracles definition of illusion, the Course in Miracles is about to give us its definition of illusion. By definition, an illusion is an attempt to make something real that is regarded as of major importance, but is recognized as being untrue. An illusion is an attempt to make something real just because it's important to you, even though you know it's not true. An illusion is an attempt to make something real that's regarded of major importance, but is recognized as being untrue. An illusion is something that is recognized as being untrue, but you still try to make it real, or you still try to make it true because it's important to you. Have you ever had a relationship where you felt a certain way about a person and they didn't feel that way about you, but you really wanted to believe it was real, even though a part of you knew that relationship and that love wasn't real? That's an illusion. An illusion is any attempt to make something real that you see as of major importance to you, but you know it's not true. So what happens if you're trying to make something real, even though you know it's not true, but it's really important to you? The Course in Miracles says, the mind therefore seeks to do what? The mind therefore seeks to make it true. If it's something you want to be true that's not true because it's important to you, then the Course in Miracles says your mind is going to try to make it true out of its intensity of desire to have it for itself. So just because I really want it, I will try to see it as real and see it as true, even though I know it's not true, just because it's important to me. And I'm going to try to make it true just because of the intensity of desire that I have to have it for myself. So illusions, which are things that are not true and not real, that you're trying to make real just because it's important to you and you want to have it to yourself and you want to have it as true. The Course in Miracles says illusions are travesties of creation. So what is a travesty of creation? A travesty of creation is an attempt to bring truth to lies. A travesty of creation is you attempting to make a lie the truth. So let me give you an example of trying to make a lie the truth from a Course in Miracles perspective. If you see yourself as a body, if you see yourself ultimately as a physical body, and you believe that is your identity, if you believe that you ultimately are a man or a woman, if you ultimately believe that you are a man or a woman, if you believe you are a man or a woman, if you believe that you are a body, if you believe that you are separate, then you are attempting to bring truth to lies. It's a lie to think that you're a body. It's a lie to think that you are a victim. It's a lie to think that you're sinful. It's a lie to think that you're guilty. It's a lie to think that you're lacking. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie to believe that God doesn't love you. It's a lie to believe that you are alone. It is a lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. So any attempt to make the separation real, any attempt to see yourself as a guilty, sinful body, any attempt to see yourself as a victim is trying to bring truth to lies. So that would be a Course in Miracles level of lie, would be for you to think you are separate from me and for me to think I'm separate from you. For us to think that we are not one, that we are not connected. That would be an attempt to bring truth to lies. Do you know that the Course in Miracles is trying to teach us the difference between what is true and what is not true? And the Course in Miracles is saying, if you really want something to be true, you're going to try to make it true, even if you don't know it's true. So if you want to believe that you are separate, if you want to believe that there is no creator, if you want to believe that love isn't real, if you want to believe that you are a body, if you want to believe that you are guilty, if you want to believe that you are a victim, if you want to believe that you are sick and full of lack and grievances and that is what you really are, then that is trying to bring the truth to lies, because that is a lie. You are innocent. You are loved. You are lovable. You are free. You are powerful. You are an unlimited creation of an unlimited creator. That is the truth. Anything else that you believe about yourself that is not based on that idea according to the Course in Miracles, which you don't have to believe, is a lie. If you think you are alone, that's a lie. Okay, that's a lie. And so if you try to prove to me that it isn't a lie, then you are trying to bring truth to lies. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. So why would somebody try to do that? Well, in the next part of the paragraph, it says, finding truth unacceptable. Like if you're a person and you don't want to accept the truth, he says the mind revolts against the truth. So if you don't want to believe in your innocence, if you don't want to believe that you are loved and loving and lovable, if you don't want to believe that you are a creator, if you want to believe that you are a victim, then you're going to find this truth unacceptable. And the Course says when your mind finds the truth unacceptable, what does it do? It says when your mind finds the truth unacceptable, your mind revolts against the truth and then gives itself the false idea of victory. So people in the world are basically revolting against the truth if they think they're guilty, if they think that they do not deserve love, if they think they are not lovable, if they think that they don't have help, if they think that they are bodies, if they think that they are alone. The fact that you are not your body is, to me, is all the more reason why you need to take care of your body. If your body is temporary, but it's what you need in order to move through this physical dimension, this dream world, then it would make sense that you would have a perception of your body and a treatment of your body that would be very loving, that would be very caring. So the Course in Miracles says, finding the truth unacceptable, the mind revolts against the truth and gives itself an illusion of victory. Finding health a burden, the mind retreats into feverish dreams, finding health a burden. Then it says in these dreams, in these feverish dreams, when you're having a feverish dream, when you are asleep, when you are a soul that is asleep and having a feverish dream, the Course says when you're having a feverish dream, then then in these dreams, the feverish dreams, a dream that you're what? Finding truth unacceptable. An experience where your mind is revolting against the truth. In an experience where your mind is giving itself an illusion of victory. When you're having an experience where your mind is finding the truth unacceptable, so you find health a burden, then he says your mind retreats into feverish dreams, and you can tell when you are in a feverish dream. You can tell when you are not perceiving the truth. You can tell when you are deep within a false idea. You can tell when you are not really accepting the truth and you're revolting against the truth, because the Course says that's a feverish dream. And when you're in a feverish dream, he says you can tell because you, first of all, you'll think your mind is separate. You'll think you're separate. You'll think that you have a mind that's different from other minds. You'll also think that you have different interests of your own. You will also think you can gratify your needs at the expense of other people. So when you're in the ego, when you're in the feverish dream, when you have forgotten the truth, when you are revolting against the truth, the Course in Miracles says you'll think you're separate. You think you'll have a mind that's different from other minds. You think you'll have different interests, all of your own. And you'll be tempted to believe that you could gratify your needs at the expense of somebody else's needs. That's how you can tell when the mind is revolting against the truth. Now, for me personally, if I want to be honest with myself, I'd have to say that I'm having a feverish dream, because I do think my mind is separate. It does seem like it's separate. It looks like I have a mind that's different from other people's minds. It looks like I have interests that are different from other people's interests. And sometimes it does look like I can gratify my needs at the expense of other people. So instead of fighting with that idea, I'm just going to admit that there's a part of my mind that revolts against the truth. That there's a part of my mind that revolts against the idea that I am totally loved, totally loving, totally innocent, beyond the body, that I'm not a victim, that there's some part of my mind that still does that. Why? Because I think I'm separate. I think I have a separate mind. I think I have a mind that's different from other minds. I think I have different interests all of my own. And I sometimes think I can gratify myself at the expense of other people. So that lets me know that I am having a feverish dream. The Course in Miracles calls this a feverish dream. Wow. Okay. Do y'all hear me? This is Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles, the purpose of Hardcore Course in Miracles is to hear what the Course in Miracles is saying. My purpose is to help you just hear what it's saying. My purpose is not to analyze the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles says that analyzing is of the ego. It's of the false mind. It is of the fearful self. It's of the separate self. That the Holy Spirit accepts. Love accepts. your conscious mind accepts. So that is what I'm aiming at. I want to talk to your conscious self. I want to talk to the part of you that wants to hear what the truth is, even if you're not practicing it yet. Because there's no need to practice what you already really get and understand. We need to practice what we don't really get and don't really understand. So the next paragraph, paragraph 3, starts off with a very powerful question. It says, where do all these differences come from? If we're seeing differences, when we look out through our eyes and we're seeing differences, where do the differences come from? Where do your perceptions come from? Where does what you see come from? He says, certainly the differences seem to be in the world outside. It looks like all the differences are in the outside world. It looks like all the differences are in the outside. It looks like you are outside of me, and it looks like you're different from me. It looks like I'm outside of you, and it looks like I'm different from you. So the Course in Miracles says, where do all these differences come from? Well, certainly they seem to be coming from the outside. Yet, that's not where the differences are coming from. Where are the differences coming from? Where are your perceptions coming from? The Course in Miracles is about to answer that question. It says, yet it is surely the mind that judges what the eyes behold. Whatever I see, my mind is judging whatever I see. Your mind is judging whatever you see. Your mind is judging whatever you see. Your mind is judging. 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 What is your mind judging? The Course says it judges what your eyes behold. You're judging what you physically see. The mind judges what you physically see. Everything you physically see, your mind is judging everything that you physically see. Everything that you physically see, everything that you experience through your physical senses, it's surely the mind that judges what the eyes behold. So where do the differences come from? It looks like the differences come from the outside, but it's really the mind that's judging whatever the eyes see. And I'm repeating that over and over again because we need to remember that the differences that we're looking at, those differences are not coming from outside of ourselves. Those differences are coming from how our mind is judging what we see. So I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to go along with what higher power is saying. I'm going to say to myself, I'm judging everything I see. I'm judging this as a robe. I'm judging this as a beard. I'm judging these as eyes. I'm judging this as a shiny bald head. I'm judging this behind me as a wall. I'm judging you as being students of the Course, or people that are interested in hearing what I'm saying. I'm judging, I'm judging, I'm judging, I'm judging, and judging, and judging, and judging, and judging. So where do these differences come from? They certainly seem like they're coming from the outside, but it says it's surely the mind that judges what the eyes behold. Now, if you will notice, I'm not rushing through this. I'm repeating. I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm Earl Purdy. I'm the divine remembering teacher. So my goal as a teacher of God, as a teacher of love, is to help people remember, hear, and remember what the Course in Miracles is saying. Not to analyze it to death, but to just see what it's saying. So it says, so I'm going to say this again. Where do all these differences come from? Where do all these differences come from? Certainly, these differences seem to be in the world outside. Differences seem to be in the world outside. Differences seem to be in the world outside. It looks like the world outside is where I'm seeing the differences. But the mind, it's the mind that judges. It's the mind that judges what the eyes behold. It's my mind that judges. It's my mind that judges. It's the mind that judges what the eyes behold. Yes, it does. The next sentence says, it is the mind that interprets the eye's messages and gives the eye's messages meaning. So, let me use myself as an example. Let me use myself as an example because that can make the Course in Miracles practical, okay? Okay, let me go back. Okay, I seem to be different from you. I seem to be outside you. But it's your mind that's judging me. It's your mind that's judging me. It's your mind that's judging what you're hearing. It's your mind that's judging what you're seeing. Then it says, it is the mind that interprets the eye's messages and gives the eye's messages meaning. So, you're the one that's giving all the meaning that I have. You're the one that's giving all the meaning that I have for you. You're the one that's giving all the meaning that this class has for you. You're giving everything about this time together right now, all the meaning that it has for you. So that means this meaning doesn't exist in the world outside you at all. The meaning that you're giving me does not exist outside of you. You're the one that's giving me all the meaning that I have for you. It's your mind that's judging what you see and hear in me. So the meaning that I have is not outside. All the meaning that I have, all the meaning that the Course has, all the meaning that the truth has is not outside at all. It's in your mind. All the meaning that I have for you is in your mind. All the meaning that the Course has for you is in your mind. All the meaning that anything has for you is in your mind. You're the one that's giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one giving everything that you feel all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one that's giving everything that you feel all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one that's giving everything that you hear all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one that's giving everything that you smell all the meaning that it has for you. You're the one that's giving everything that you taste all the meaning that it has for you. This meaning is not outside yourself. This meaning is inside your own mind. So what is seen as reality? So what you see as reality. Do you know that what you see as reality is simply what the mind prefers? Whatever you see as real is what you prefer to see as real. Whatever you see as real is what you prefer to see as real. However you judge things, it's how you prefer to judge things. The Course says what is seen as reality is simply what your mind prefers. So your mind has a hierarchy of values. Your mind believes that some things are more valuable than other things. Your mind believes that some things are more valuable than other things. Your mind believes that some people are more important than other people, that some situations are more important than other situations, that some relationships are more important than other relationships. The mind has a hierarchy of values. And whatever those values are, the Course in Miracles says its hierarchy of values is projected outward. So whatever I value, I project outward. If I value love, I extend or project love outward. If I value fear, then I extend or I project fear outward. If I value anger and upset, then I project anger and upset outward. If I value peace and harmony, then I project that outward. Whatever my values are, I project outward, and then I send the body's eyes to find it. I'm going to look for what I value. I'm going to look for what I value. I'm going to move toward what I value. You always see what you value. You see what you value. You see what you value. You always see what you value. Whatever you see, however you define what you see, that is what you value. However you define things, that is what you value. However you see things, that is what you value. The Course in Miracles says the mind's hierarchy of values is projected outward. I'm glad we're having all these wonderful comments that's happening. I always watch your comments. I always see your comments. It makes me aware of your presence. But what the Course in Miracles is saying right now is really, really important. How can you get beyond the perception of order of difficulties? What is it that makes you think it's harder for you to say and teach and practice correct perception in some situations more than in other situations? But the Course in Miracles is just run it down to us. In this one paragraph, it runs down everything. Where do differences come from? It looks like differences are in the outside world. But what did the Course in Miracles tell us? It told us that that's not true. It's your mind that's judging everything that you see. It is your mind that's interpreting everything you see and is giving everything you see all the meaning that it has. The meaning of anything does not exist in the outside world. The meaning that everything has to you exists in your own mind. And whatever you see as real is what your mind prefers to see as real. And whatever your values are, you're going to project those values outward, and then you're going to look to see it. It says, the body's eyes will never see. Do you hear me? The body's eyes will never see except through differences. The only thing the body's eyes can see is differences. The only thing the physical eyes can see is differences. The physical eyes can only see differences. Everything looks different to the physical eye. So it's not the messages that your eyes bring. It is not the perceptions that your eyes bring on which perception rests. It's not the messages, it's not the perceptions that your eyes bring on which your perception rests. So what does that mean? It says, only the mind evaluates their messages. It's only your mind that's evaluating what you see. It's only your mind that's evaluating your eyes' messages. The messages that are coming, the messages which are the perceptions that you see, your mind evaluates or judges everything you see. You see how the Course in Miracles is saying the same thing many different ways? That's why I always tell people, if you don't understand a sentence or a paragraph in the Course, just keep on reading. It's going to restate it 100 different times, hoping that one of the ways that it restates itself, you're going to understand. So it's basically saying the same thing all over again. Only the mind evaluates the messages that your eyes bring to your mind. So what does that mean? He says, and so only the mind is responsible for seeing. Only the mind is responsible for seeing. The mind is responsible for seeing. Only the mind is responsible for seeing. Only the mind is responsible for seeing. Only your mind is responsible for how you see. It is your mind that is responsible for how you see things. No one outside your own mind, no one outside of you is responsible for how you are feeling. No one outside of you is responsible for how you are feeling. No one outside of you, nothing outside of you is responsible for how you see things. You are the one that's giving the meaning to everything you feel, to everything you see. You are the one that's responsible for what you see, because you are the one that's interpreting everything you see, and the way that you are interpreting everything you see determines how you feel, determines the meanings that you give things. So all of the meanings that you give things, that's determining how you feel. Your feelings are coming from the meanings that you give things. Your feelings and your reactions and your responses are coming from your judgments, because it is your mind that is interpreting everything that's happening to you, and that meaning that you are giving it is determining how you feel. And you could interpret everything according to how the Course in Miracles is suggesting that you interpret things, because if you use the interpretations that the Course in Miracles is teaching you, if you give the meanings that a Course in Miracles is giving you to give to everything you see, if you use love's judgments, if you use the Course in Miracles judgments, then that meaning would be what you would see, because everything that you see is coming from what you value and what you give meaning to. It says it right here in paragraph 3. Only the mind evaluates the messages that the body's eyes bring. So only the mind is responsible for seeing. The mind alone decides. What? The mind alone decides. So what is it that your mind decides? Your mind decides whether what is seen is real or illusory. It is your mind that decides whether what you see is desirable or undesirable. It is your mind alone that decides whether what you see is pleasurable or painful. So pleasure comes from the mind, pain comes from the mind. What's desirable comes from the mind, what is undesirable comes from the mind. What is real comes from the mind, what is not real comes from the mind. What I mean by that is you are the one that decides whether it's real or not. You're the one that decides whether something is desirable or not. You're the one that decides whether something is painful or pleasurable. All the pleasure that you feel with another person does not come from the other person. All the pleasure that you feel from touching another person's body, for instance, is not coming from that other person. It's coming from the decision that you make about that physical sensory experience. That is why you are so powerful, and that's also why you could possibly be more happy one day than you could ever imagine. Think about it. If your feelings are coming from what you are telling yourself and the judgments that you have on everything and the meanings that you have and the values that you have, and you're projecting those outward, and then you're reacting to that, then if someone gave you meanings and interpretations that could only bring you joy, then you would feel happy no matter what's happening outside of you, no matter what anybody else is doing. You would be just as happy if you lost your job as you would be if you got a promotion, because you know that you would be the one giving that all the meaning that it has for you. Listen to this now. It's more important to remember one thing that the Course is saying than to try to remember everything that the Course is saying. And so the Course in Miracles goes, okay, let's say you didn't really get that. Let's go to paragraph 4. It says, it is in the sorting out and categorizing activities of the mind. It's you sorting things out and categorizing everything. He says, it is the sorting out and categorizing activities of the mind. It is in the sorting out and categorizing activities of the mind that errors in perception enter. So where do all your wrong perceptions come from? Where do all your incorrect perceptions, fearful perceptions come from? It comes from the way you are categorizing and sorting everything out that you see. It is here correction must be made. Okay, so according to the Course, where must correction be made? Correction must be made in how you sort out and categorize what you see. You need a correct way to sort out and categorize what you're looking at. You need a new way to sort out and categorize your experience. And so this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Listen. The mind classifies what the body's eyes bring to it. Okay, so everything you see your mind classifies everything you see. So how does your mind classify everything you see? Your mind classifies everything you see according to your mind's preconceived values. So that means it's your mind that's judging where each sense datum fits best. It's you that's determining the meaning of everything you see by your preconceived values. You're judging everything you see based on your beliefs and your values. And what basis could be faultier than that? What a more screwed up way to judge things based on, I'm judging everything based on my values, my beliefs, and my learnings. What if my values and my beliefs and my learnings are not true? What if my values and beliefs and learnings are based in fear instead of being based in love? What if my values and beliefs are based and rooted in guilt instead of being rooted in innocence? So your mind, unrecognized by itself, your mind has itself asked to be given what will fit into these categories. So the Course in Miracles is saying what? It's saying to us that you're always looking for what fits into your categories. You're always looking for your values. You're always looking for and looking at things through your value system. And having done this, he says, the mind concludes that the categories must be true. I fit everything that I believe about you into, in other words, I size you up and I think I know you and I think I know what you're about. And so I'm going to look for what I believe about you. And then I'm going to conclude that I was right because I'm only going to focus on what I value and what I believe about you anyway. And the Course says, on this, the judgment of all differences rest, because it is on this that the judgments of the world depend. Okay, so what does the judgments of the world depend on? The judgments of the world depend on what it is you value, and you sort out and you categorize everything that you see, and you give it all the meaning that it has for you, and then you look for what you believe. You look for a reflection or a witness to what you believe. That's why perception can be such a lovely liar, because your perception is always going to witness back to what you believe in the first place. So what you're seeing in the world is what you believe. The way that you categorize and sort things out and the meaning that you're giving to everything, that becomes your perception. That becomes the way that you see the world. And if you want to believe something that's not true, just because you really want to see it that way, then it's going to look like it's that way. So the Course in Miracles says, can this confused and senseless reasoning be depended on for anything? This is confused and senseless reasoning. What is confused and senseless reasoning? Confused and senseless reading, the confused and senseless reasoning is me judging everything I see, sorting it out and categorizing it according to my values and the meanings that I give to it, so that I see only what I want to see and I don't see what I don't want to see, and I only feel what I want to feel. And whatever my beliefs are, I'm going to project those beliefs outside of myself, and then I'm going to be on the lookout for it. So you're only seeing what you believe. You're not necessarily seeing what's true. You're seeing what you believe is true. Your experience is based on what you believe is true. What you are experiencing in every area of your life right now is a reflection of your conscious and unconscious beliefs and values. That's what this is telling us, which is the secret to happiness. Because all I need to do is give it the correct judgment, give it the correct sorting out, give it the correct categorizing that comes from love, that comes from the Holy Spirit, and I would give it a meaning that only brought me joy and would only bring healing to everyone around me. So, let's go even further. It says, there can be no order of difficulty in healing. One thing cannot be harder than another to heal, because all sickness is illusion. All sickness is a false idea. You don't have to believe this, but all sickness is illusion. All sickness is a false idea. And so then the Course in Miracles asks an incredible question. Is it harder to dispel the belief of the insane in a larger hallucination as opposed to a smaller hallucination? In other words, will you agree more quickly to the unreality of a louder voice you hear than to the unreality of a softer voice you hear? In other words, can you dismiss more easily a whispered demand to kill than a shout? In other words, you know, if I whisper to you to kill somebody and you say I won't do it, will you kill somebody if I shout at you to kill somebody? So the Course in Miracles is saying to us, like, do the number of pitchforks the devils you see carrying affect their credibility in your perception? In other words, if you say you don't believe in the devil, then what if I showed you 100 devils? Would you believe in the devil then? Okay, well then if I showed you 1,000 devils, in other words, if I showed you a drawing of Bugs Bunny and you said the cartoon character Bugs Bunny is not real, well if I drew 100 Bugs Bunnies, would you then say Bugs Bunny is real? So that's what the Course to me is talking about in terms of our physical world. You know, we think that an airplane crash is realer than a skateboard getting broken. The Course in Miracles are saying it's all part of the same thing. It's all part of perception. It's all part of the illusion. It's all ultimately neutral. There's nothing in this world that is permanent. There is nothing in this world that will last forever. There's nothing in the world of perception that lasts forever. There's not one single thing in the world of perception that lasts forever. I don't care what it is. None of it's real. None of it's the ultimate reality. So the Course in Miracles says his mind has categorized them all as real, and so they're real to him. So if you think it's real, then it's going to be real to you. If you're a person that believes that you can never trust people, then you're going to always see people that you can't trust. If you're a person that believes that you are a victim, then you're going to always have perpetrators and attackers and things and people that make you think you are a victim. If you see yourself as a prosperous, abundant child of an unlimited creator, then your perception is going to witness back to you that you truly are abundant and that you truly are wealthy. I tell people all the time, I'm totally wealthy in everything that matters. In everything that matters, I'm wealthy. I have food, I have clothing, I have shelter, and I have loving relationships. That means I'm rich because that's what's important at the level of the physical body. Food, clothing, shelter, and correct perception, which means loving relationships, loving perceptions. So the Course in Miracles says, when he realizes they are all illusions, they will disappear. So what is it? And an illusion is fear, anger, guilt, separation, loneliness, lack, attack. The Course in Miracles defines all these things as ultimately not real because they are not loving. And the Course in Miracles premise is only love is real. So how do you get rid of illusions? How do you get rid of lack? How do you get rid of fear? How do you get rid of anger? How do you get rid of resistance? The Course in Miracles says, when you realize that the values that you have projected out, the things that you believe that are not true, when you realize they are all illusions, they will disappear. So the Course in Miracles is trying to get us to realize that anything other than love is not real. That anything other than peace and joy and harmony and oneness are not real. And when you realize that anything other than love is not real, then anything other than love will disappear from your life. And the only thing that will be left in your perception is love. Now, the properties of illusions, which seem to make illusions different, are really irrelevant. Their properties are as illusory as they are. You know, Bugs Bunny is wearing a hat. One Bugs Bunny is wearing a hat, and another Bugs Bunny is wearing a scarf. The individual properties of a false idea are just as false as the false idea. The scarf that Bugs Bunny is wearing is just as unreal as the hat that the other Bugs Bunny is wearing. It doesn't matter. Any property of a false idea, anything that makes a false idea seem different from another false idea, any of the individual differences and properties of false ideas doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what form of fear you have. It doesn't matter what form of anger you have. It doesn't matter what form of limitation that you think you have. The individual properties of false ideas do not matter. The idea that you could have anything other than love and that you deserve anything other than love, That is the false idea. It doesn't make any difference what forms that false idea takes. And so the Course in Miracles says in the last paragraph something that is so important. Now listen to this. That's right, Roger. You know, a Course in Miracles and Buddhism bring me joy, happiness, and serenity. It's very important to just get what is the point of this lesson tonight. We got to stop thinking that one false idea is more difficult to go beyond than another false idea. We have to let go of the idea that there are orders of difficulties in miracles. Also, one loving perception, being able to say the truth in one situation. The truth is no harder than to say the truth in another situation. You can always say the truth and think the truth no matter how you feel about it. So what is going to happen? So the Course in Miracles is about to tell us exactly what to do. The Course in Miracles is about to do what? It's about to tell us exactly what to do. All right. This is the healing. This is how you get past the belief that one thing is more difficult than another. Okay. That's right, Julia. Only love is real. So again, listen to this very carefully. 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 I'm going to say your body's eyes will continue to see differences. Your body's eyes will continue to see differences. Even though you're studying A Course in Miracles, even though you're studying A Course in Miracles, even though you're practicing A Course in Miracles, even though you're trying to remember the truth, even though you're trying to remember the truth, your eyes, your physical eyes are going to continue to see differences. It's going to continue to see things that look different. Your physical eyes are going to continue to see televisions and cars and streets and trees and clouds. Your physical eyes, even when your mind is healed, even when your mind is healing, you will continue to see physical differences. But the mind that has let itself be healed will no longer acknowledge the differences. So when my mind is healed, I'll see differences, but I'll know that there are no differences. When my mind is healed, I will still see differences, but I will not believe that the differences are true. So when your mind is healed, you still see what appears to be different people, for example, but you will no longer see everyone as different. You will ultimately be seeing everything as the same. So what does that mean? It means there will be those who seem to be sicker than others. You will still see people that seem to be sicker than other people. You will still see some people, even when your mind is healed, even when your mind is no longer acknowledging the illusion. What did the Course in Miracles say? Your mind is going to continue to see differences. Then it says there are going to be those who seem to be sicker than others. And your eyes, your body's eyes, will report their changed appearances just as it always has. It's going to look like some people are sicker than others. It's going to look like some things are worse than others. It's going to look like some people are dealing with more challenges than others. But the healed mind will put all the differences all in one category. When your mind is healed, this is what's going to happen when your mind is healed. When your mind is healed, you're going to see all differences as unreal. You're going to see anything that's different from love as unreal. You're going to still see changed people's appearances changing. Some people seeming happier than others. Some people seeming like they're sicker than others. But you will not be fooled by anything you will not be fooled by the differences that your body's eyes see. You're going to put all of the differences in one category. There is no such thing as differences. We are all the same. We are all one. He says, this is the gift of its teacher. This is the gift of the Holy Spirit. So what is the gift of the Holy Spirit? What is the gift of our inner teacher? What is the gift that God has given us right now? The understanding that only two categories are meaningful. In sorting out the messages, only two categories are meaningful in sorting out the messages. Out of everything that you see, out of everything that you see, there are only two categories that mean anything in sorting out what you see. The messages your mind receives from what appears to be the outside world. And of these two categories, only one category is true, only one category is real. Okay, you're going to sort everything that you see into two categories. You're supposed to sort everything you see, everything you feel, everything you hear into two categories. You're supposed to categorize everything that you see. You're supposed to put everything that you see in two categories. There's only one category that's real. There are two categories, but there's only one category that's true. Just as reality is wholly real, reality is totally real. Reality is totally real. So it says reality is apart from size and shape and time and place, for differences cannot exist within reality. There are no differences in love. Love loves everything and everyone equally. Love loves everything the same. Love loves everything the same. Love doesn't love anything more than any other thing. Love doesn't love any other person more than any other person. Love doesn't love any circumstance more than another circumstance. In reality, there are no differences. Differences cannot exist within reality. And the Course in Miracles describes reality as love. So it says differences cannot exist within it. So too are illusions without distinctions. All illusions are the same. All false ideas are the same. And all true ideas are the same. All false ideas are false. All true ideas are true. So all true ideas are the same, and all false ideas are the same. All illusions are the same. All illusions are the same. It says illusions are without distinctions. So what is the one answer? The one answer to sickness of any kind is healing. The one answer to fear of any kind is love. The one answer to guilt of any kind is innocence. The one answer to attack of any kind is peace. The one answer to a lack of any kind is abundance. The one answer to loneliness of any kind is joining. The one answer to all illusions, the one answer to all false ideas is the truth. Wow. That helped me out so much tonight because I want to simplify my experience. I want to make everything simple. So to know that out of everything that I see, I need to classify it in two categories. It's either true or not true. It's either real or unreal. It's either love or fear. That's what everything that I'm looking at is. And only the love is real. So I'm going to do our miracle thought for today. Right at the end, I pull a card for the group so we can hear what the thought is for the whole group. I am a full-time teacher. This is what I do full-time in the world. If you would like to share with me and make a financial expression of appreciation, just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, Purdy. You can also use Venmo, and my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I also am a sole purpose astrologer as well as a Course in Miracles teacher facilitator. And those things are not contradictory. And let me let you know that I'm available for what I call clarity sessions, where we do a one-on-one and I show you how you can apply this truth in your personal experience so that you can have the kind of joy and happiness that the Course in Miracles is promising us. It's called a clarity session. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com. Look under the clarity session tabs. It will explain what I do in detail. And then you can self-book an appointment with me right there online. Please sign up for my contact list. Please go to my website and sign up for my contact list. Please share these videos. And I love to get feedback that is loving and supportive. I can judge and criticize myself without having anybody else's help. But it really is more inspiring to hear what people appreciate about what you do and how it helps them. Okay, so quick recap. Ready? Don't forget to share this video. Okay, the Course in Miracles. So how do we get rid of belief of order of difficulties? We have to understand that your body's eyes are going to continue to see differences, that the body's eyes just see competition and conflict. And that an illusion is something that you want to believe is true, even though you know it's not. But because it's so important to you, you'll try to make it true even if it's not. And the Course in Miracles says that means you're in a feverish dream. And when you're in a feverish dream and you're not really seeing the truth, he says you'll think that you're separate, you'll think that you're different from other minds, you'll think that you have different interests of your own, and you'll even think sometimes you can get what you want at the expense of everybody else. Then the most important thing that it told us was that the differences that we see are not in the outside world. The fears that we see are not in the outside world. It's our mind that's judging what it's looking at. And it's judging what it's looking at as something that gives us peace or something that gives it conflict. The Course in Miracles says you're the one that's giving the meaning to everything that you see. And none of the meaning is in the outside world. And what you're seeing is what you value. What you value that you're conscious of and what you value that you're not conscious of. Then do you know the Course in Miracles says your body's eyes, again, are only going to see differences. And that your mind is evaluating what you're seeing, so therefore your mind is responsible for what you're seeing. So you're the one that's deciding whether something is pleasurable for you or painful for you. You're the one that's deciding whether what you're going through right now in your life is desirable or undesirable. But since you're the one doing the judgment, and you're the one that's doing the sorting out and the categorizing of everything you see and experience, he says that's where mistakes are made. Because if your values and beliefs are not based on love, then you're going to have perceptions that don't always give you peace and harmony. Because your mind is classifying everything that it sees according to its values. And the Course in Miracles is saying that this is where all the judgment comes in. It comes from the belief of differences. And you're the one that's giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. And then the Course in Miracles told us that if you want an illusion to disappear, you have to just realize that it's an illusion. If you want something that's not true to disappear, you have to realize that it's not true. So even as you have your mind healed, even as your mind begins to be healed, the Course in Miracles says you're going to continue to see differences. But when your mind is healed, you will not acknowledge the differences. You're going to still recognize that reality is the same. Reality never changes. It's only love. It only gives peace. It only gives joy. And there's two categories that you're going to classify everything that you see. And you're going to see it. You're going to classify everything you see into two categories. Either everything you see is real or everything you see is unreal. Either everything you see is really based on love, which is real, or truth, which is real, or freedom, which is real, or it's based on limitation of some type, which is not real. So the one answer for anything that is not real is what is real. And the answer to sickness is healing. The answer to fear is love. Listen to this at least and watch this at least 3 times and let yourself hear this. Because if you're the one giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you, then you could give it a meaning that gives you only joy. And when you get that meaning from the Course in Miracles that gives you only joy, then you will have the key to happiness, because your happiness will truly be caused by something that is inside of you, rather than continuing to believe that your happiness comes from something outside of you. So our message today is, in quiet, I receive God's word today. Blessings to you too, Laurel. So what is your thought? What is the thought for us tonight? What is the thought for us? In quiet, I receive God's word today. In quiet, I receive God's word today. So this is what it says on the back of the miracle card. True prayer must avoid the pitfall of asking to entreat. Ask rather to receive what is already given, to accept what is already there. Let's do it again. I ask to receive what is already given, to accept what is already there. I ask to receive what is already given, to accept what is already there. Let's say it. I ask to receive what is already given. I ask to accept what is already there. I ask to receive what is already given. I ask to accept what is already there. I ask to receive what is already given. I ask to accept what is already there. Mighty companions, woo! In quiet, we received God's word today. As usual, you're the ultimate blessing that I could ever give myself is to get a chance to share this with you. I'm going to categorize you as loving, as real, as valuable. And I'm going to be looking for the Christ in you. I'm going to be looking for the love in you. That's all I want to see in you. That's all I want to remember about you. Mighty companion, may the course be with you. I'll see you next time. Please share this video. You all are awesome. You're the blessing to Demola, Jim, all of my mighty companions. We are the mighty companions. Oh yeah. Woo! Bless you too, Latricia. Yeah. And Pamela. And all of you. Awesome.